Hello, and welcome back to Kirsty Runs Wild. It's been wild. It has been multiple weeks since I filmed a video. It is May 19th right now. That brings me to 12 weeks and 5 days pregnant. Yes, that means I have missed a couple of weeks filming. It's funny. That kind of like when I hit, I think week 9 was the last update I did. And when I hit week 10, there was like nothing new to report. And then week 11, after week 11, everything exploded. Where like, there was just so much. Now there's so much to film. There's so much to catch up on. Like, I'll probably have to do this in multiple videos. But, basically, all my symptoms were like the same. Like, and they have been pretty much. I guess like the only new things to report are like just been noticing more that my cravings aren't like the quintessential cravings that I thought pregnancy would be like pickles and ice cream all the time. Like, I don't really have like a go-to, but like when I want something, I really want it. Like, I really need it. And they're things that I like have not really wanted in the past. Like in the past, before I was pregnant, I was very like carb focused. Like, when I had cravings or binges, like I would really want to go for like carb, like, or a sweet. But now, like sometimes like I really need an orange, or like oranges are a big one. What else? I wrote some of it down. I have Chinese food. That's been like a big one, on and off, like just but like more so than usual. And let's see. Sometimes like red sauce, which I had before too, but I don't know, it just like hits a bit differently. Like beans, sometimes I really want. But it just seems like very pointed. Like if it's almost like my body knows it needs a nutrient, so it like craves that food, and it's not always the same. And like actually been binging a lot less, if like almost never. Like I like can't binge almost. Like when I'm full, I get full faster than I did before I was pregnant. And in the early weeks of pregnancy, like I felt like I was not much changed, but now like coming like week 10, 11, 12, like I've been getting fuller kind of faster. I can feel my digestion's a lot slower. Like I'm not hungry as fast after I eat. And like I just can't take as many calories and like jam as much in there as I used to be able to. Like I was always a binger, so like I'm not used to this. So that's kind of like a difference. And so yeah, other symptoms, nothing really, just everything's the same. My boobs continue to just be like a little bit more sensitive. I've stayed the same weight between like the last few weeks. I gained like a lot of weight in the beginning of my pregnancy, like 10 pounds, when I was still able to kind of like eat more. And then it really leveled off, I think, a lot, because like I just can't eat as much anymore. That's good too. Like that I'm not continuing to gain, because I do not need to gain. So yeah, that's kind of like the symptom update. Nothing big. Still no nausea, which is really great. I mean, sometimes a bit when I'm hungry or like in the car, but I've always kind of gotten car sick in the last like 5 years. But I feel like I might be a bit more susceptible to it. But it's really nothing, like in the grand scheme of things. I'm very lucky. So that's kind of like the symptom story. So what happened in the last few weeks, and the first time that I skipped the video, was that I was in Atlanta, Georgia with Zach. And we went there because it was my best friend from college's and roommate from college's wedding, Katie. And so I got to go down there with Zach. I got to show him where I went to college, because I went to college in Atlanta. I went to Emory University. It was the first time I've been back in 11 years since I graduated. So it was all really fun. But anyway, what this has to do with pregnancy was that, well, first of all, I was down there with him when I was supposed to film the video. So I didn't do that. And also, when I went to the wedding, we didn't know if we were going to tell people, because I never see my like friends from college anymore, ever. And I still wasn't like at that first trimester mark where we didn't even tell our moms yet. So like it felt weird to tell those people. But when we walked into the wedding, multiple women were pregnant there. And it was like my friend from college's wives. And so like that's like one of the first things I found out when we walked into the welcome dinner the night before the wedding. One of the first pieces of information we found out was like 2 women were like at the end of their first trimester. And I was like, well, all bets were off. Like I ran over to them and I was like, I'm in the first trimester too. And it was just such a cool bonding moment. One of them was Dan's wife, Deb, and the other one was Krishna, who is Anuja's wife. So I told everybody, like all my friends, and they were so happy for me. And the best reaction was my best friend from college, V, Bridgen, went to his wedding 2 years ago. But I guess I told like everybody at the welcome dinner except for him. It's so funny how you take like your best friend for granted. You know, of course he knows, but I did not tell him. I guess I told his wife, but they just didn't talk about it that night. And so the next day at the wedding dinner, I was at his table. I was like sitting next to him and his wife, me and Zach, and I was talking to Amanda, his wife, about the pregnancy and da 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 da. And then I looked at him and he suggested something, and I was like, "Oh, you really can't do that when you're pregnant, though." And he was like, "Are you?" And I was like, yes, like, did you not know this from yesterday? Did I not tell you? Like, how did I miss you of all people? And he just stood up in the middle of the whole wedding dinner and hugged me in front of like everybody, and he just started crying, and it was just the sweetest reaction, and we both cried and just hugged each other, and he just was in disbelief. He sat down just looking at me in disbelief and crying. Like, it was just the best reaction I feel like of anybody so far. It was so amazing, and I just felt really special and held, and everybody was like so supportive, saying that we were going to be like such good parents and we were going to raise such a cool kid, and it was just really nice. Such an amazing time. And Katie the bride, like, you know, my friend from college too, like came up to me when we were leaving and just, you know, because I didn't really get to tell her because it was her wedding, so, but she found out and told me, just like give me a little like inspirational speech like she does, and it was just really nice. So that was Atlanta. And then so we came back soaring into week 11. I think maybe week 10. Yeah, 10, 11. And so then we were really gearing up to, I'm just trying to look at my, okay, yeah. So then I went over my friend Jess's house the day before Mother's Day. And Jess is my friend that is going to do our gender reveal for us. She is going to be the keeper of the gender and order like whatever we decide to order for our gender reveal. So obviously we're close. That's why I chose her. And so she already knew. I think I said in an earlier video that I told Jess. And that was really awesome. And she was so excited. And then so I went over to Jess's house because Ronnie, our like third intern, we were all interned together a few years ago at Arbor Counseling. Ronnie came and visited from Texas because she moved to Texas, so we all got together. And so I told Ronnie, and Jess during this hangout gave me a little Mother's Day present. Again, it was the day before Mother's Day. And so she gave me like my first Mother's Day present, and it was this cute picture frame of like every month you put a picture of a baby in it. And she gave me a little card with it. And in the card it said, "Happy first Mother's Day. I'm so excited that this time next year we're going to be raising our newborns together." And that's how she told me she was pregnant. So wicked over the moon excited. She is about 6 weeks behind me, almost exactly. So we were really hoping to be pregnant together. So I couldn't be happier for that. And that was just a really, really sweet way to reveal it. So that was that. And then let's see. So Mother's Day came. And that was when we planned to tell our mothers. So that was really exciting. So we told my mom on Saturday night, because we did our Mother's Day on Saturday night, even though Mother's Day was Sunday, because we weren't gonna have time to see her Sunday. So we hung out for a few hours. We got Chinese food so we could put our little reveal in the Chinese food. We got custom-made fortune cookies that said, wait, I have it. This is the fortune cookie. It looks pretty good. And the fortune says, there is a grandchild in your future. And on the other side it says, congratulations, Linda. She didn't even know what hit her when she opened it. She was kind of confused. She was in disbelief. She looked at me and she said, "Are you serious, Kirsten? Like, are you trying to tell me something?" She's like, "Tell me, because I don't want to get my hopes up and get disappointed. What's going on?" And Zach, of course, had to be like, "Oh, that's weird. I have the same fortune," because we got 5 of them, so she could pick like whatever one she wanted. Like, it was just like an authentic Chinese food fortune cookie. And so it confused the whole situation, but I was like, yes, it's real. And she was like, oh my God, oh my God. And she stood up and hugged me. I was very excited. So then I came out with this little cute like willow tree figurine of like the grandmother. Like, it was a little statue of a grandmother like holding up her little granddaughter or grandson. And she like collects the little willow trees for special like occasions. So she lost it with that. Like, I had her open that as a present after, like, for her Mother's Day present. And then right after that, I gave her the little like picture frame that we got that says, can't wait to meet you, Grandma. And it's like a picture of a stork, and a little place for the ultrasound picture. So that was my 8-week ultrasound that we put in there. So she got to have that to like keep as well. So that was a really nice reveal for my mom. And then the very next morning, we went to Zach's mom's house and told her. And again, we gave her her little Mother's Day present. It was a little box, and she opened it, and it's a little like kind of ornament, like a little glass ornament that said, like, not a Christmas ornament, just like a regular decorative ornament. It said, and then there were 3 with little baby feet. It said, coming soon 2025. And for her, the and then we were 3 is because it's her 3rd grandchild. So that's how we decided to interpret it. And she had the best reaction out of everyone. She immediately started bawling and was so happy, covered her mouth with her hand, and just was so moved. And all she could do was hug us and cry. And she was just so happy. So that was just such a sweet experience. Definitely my favorite. And then later that day, we all went to the Mother's Day party that Zach's brother's wife puts on at their house for like the wife's whole extended family. So they always get together for these holidays. And after everybody was gone, it was just us and Zach's brother Garrett and his wife Allie, and then their 8-year-old twins. And we decided to tell them then. And so Zach, kind of when everybody cleared out, was like, okay, we want to tell you something. Like, Kirsty and I are going to have a child. And they were both like really happy. And Garrett smiled probably bigger than I've ever seen him smile. And Allie was really excited. And then the 8-year-olds came down, the twins, and we kind of all told them together, and they were funny. They were like very excited. And Allie was like, do you want it to be a boy or a girl? And they were like, a boy. And we were like, well, what are you going to do if it's a girl? And they were like, we're going to throw it out. So it was funny. We had fun talking to them about that for a little while. And we told them, that we were going to have a gender reveal party, and they were going to come to our house and be part of it and find out together what the gender is. And they've come to our house on the lake once before, and they really liked it. So trying to get them excited about coming over again. So that was really special. And then, let's see. I guess I'll try to kind of bust all this out in one video. But So what else did we have? So then Friday came. So this is literally, now we're caught up, kind of like this past Friday. So that's like 5 days after we told the moms. We had our 12-week ultrasound. It could have happened at 10 weeks or more, I think. So it was basically the genetic testing appointment where you get an ultrasound, so they measure like the back of the baby's neck in this ultrasound, because the fluid in the back of the neck can suggest that the baby may have Down syndrome. So they do the ultrasound primarily to measure the neck, but you get to see the baby too, and you get all these pictures. So that's the best part. And they also kind of do a blood test and take your blood, and they test you for kind of like this genetic screening of different kinds of, it's called the NIPT, like non-invasive, I think, prenatal testing. And so it just basically screens for any chromosomal abnormalities, and then if you test like positive for this, then you have to get further invasive testing, which they go up into your uterus and get some of like the fluid from like near the baby. And they don't do that at first though, because there's a slight risk of miscarriage, so they want to do this one first. And my doctor said like 98% come back normal, so like there's really nothing to worry about. But so that's the test that we did, as the blood test. And then while they're doing the blood test though, they can find out the gender. And the cool part about that is the way they find out the gender is they just screen for any Y chromosomes in my blood. Because if there were any Y chromosomes, that would mean I'd have a boy, because I don't have any Y chromosomes. I'm XX as a girl. So if they don't find any Y chromosomes in my blood, because my blood mixes with the baby at this point, then it's likely that I had a girl. Now, there's a small chance that they could miss Y chromosomes, so it's a false positive that's a girl. But if they see any Y chromosomes, I mean, that's a surefire that it's a boy. So there have been times where, like, this test is wrong, but it's still pretty rare. So, meanwhile, we're waiting for the results of this test, and we're going to get them in an envelope once they're in. So, we can then give the envelope to Jess and she can order the gender reveal stuff. So that's very exciting. And when we saw our little guy or girl, we were calling him a little guy just to be easy, on the ultrasound, he was like kicking his legs and like doing flips. The ultrasound tech was laughing too, and just like he's turning his head, and he was very active. I did have a little coffee like before then, so it might have had something to do with it, but he was just very it was hard to get the measurement of the back of the neck because he kept kind of turning away. And like, so she actually had me eat a lollipop during it, because she said that it could kind of stir him to move in a different way, so she could get the measurement. So I thought that was cute. It was a fun way to do that. And she had me turn on my side because that could have helped too. And so he eventually did get into a position where she could get her measurement, but the ultrasound probably took about 20 minutes or half an hour. Like, it was kind of long. She did a lot of different measurements, but and we got like, this time she printed like 20 pictures for us. It was really cool, and he really looked like a baby. You could see his little like nose and lips. It was really, really cool. And so let's see. Yeah, that was really good. Zach was with me, of course, for that too. And so then after that ultrasound, we cut off one of the pictures, one of the ultrasound pictures, and we went right to Zach's dad's house. And it was his birthday, his dad's birthday on the Wednesday before. And so we were going to take him out to dinner, and got him a little birthday present. But what really was the ultrasound picture wrapped in a little box that said, "Someone wants to say hello," with little baby feet. And you slide it open, and he opened it up, and it was the picture. And he and Ellen were so excited. He was very stoic, but he said it was all internal, still very excited. And he hugged Zach, and Ellen just lost her mind, so excited, so happy. So we had a really good time at dinner talking to them all about it. And yes, so then officially all the parents know. So that was good. And then the next day I told my auntie Barbie, Uncle Richie, and cousin Jake. and we just went over their house and we just told them. So that was really exciting. And yeah, and then the only other thing that happened was we have to reschedule our gender reveal because we were going to do it June 1st, but it turns out that the gender actually might take longer to come in than expected. So they said it could take even over 2 weeks, and that would bring us past the gender reveal date. So unfortunately, we had to change and try to find a different date for the gender reveal, and that's pushing us to June 28th, which is a Saturday, and it's gonna be really hard to wait that long because now we're gonna have to like hold that gender for like weeks, and it's gonna be on my portal, and I can't open my portal because they said it will say the gender, so don't open the portal. So now we're just waiting for the results to come in, and we will see how long that takes, and then give it to Jess and finalize our decisions for the reveal, and that should be really exciting. We'll decide if we want like a powder cannon or a golf ball to explode, or Jess had the idea of like throwing darts at like balloons with different colored paint in them, like different shades of either pink or blue depending on if it's a boy or girl, and then having those balloons like drip the paint onto this canvas that you can then hang in the baby's room or whatever as like a memento from the day. So I thought that was kind of cool. So we'll be thinking of what we want. And meanwhile, I've ordered some gender reveal decorations. It's pretty cute. Got like little tablecloths and plates saying team boy, team girl, and ordered a little dress to try on. So, yeah. So, wow, I think that's pretty much the update. Um, and yeah, so 12 weeks, 5 days. I also sent in the maternity pre-admission form with Zach, and we decided to put the baby on Zach's insurance. He's got the more stable job in the sense that we think he's just going to stay there, like he's full-time. He's going to continue to get that insurance. So we're going to do that as opposed to me, who like I might go to part-time, or like things might get complicated coming back from maternity leave, and my job just tends to like change insurances sometimes more, and I don't know, I just feel like it would be simpler to have the baby on his insurance. So we agreed, and we filled that out as part of the maternity pre-admission form, and I sent it in a couple days ago to the hospital. So that means I kind of get officially pre-checked in at the hospital, and so they're expecting me to like, come in about 6 months, and they'll have some of my information on file, I guess, so I won't have to do all of it from scratch, or they can just double check that everything's the same. So that's good. And yeah, what else do I have coming up that's related to this? I'm just gonna start to tell like cousins, aunts, uncles now, like on my own time. I'm telling everybody individually. I told, everybody else to not tell anyone else so I can tell them, and they were totally fine with that. I'll be telling some of Zach's family too. And yeah, so I think, oh yeah, and we told one of our really good friends, Chris, while we were playing disc golf. I was like, I made like, I had a pretty good front nine, and then I was like, not bad for 3 months pregnant, and he was like, "Are you really?" Like he was really cute. So it was a really cool reveal for him, and he was really really happy for us too. So yeah, just all these first time reveals really took a big part, and then the wedding, telling my friends at the wedding, and the 12-week ultrasound where we saw the baby that actually looks like a baby now and not just a bean, even though he was 5.75 centimeters, which comes out to about 2.25 inches. So that's adorable. And they zoom up right on him though, so he really looked like a human. It was pretty cool. So all right, so I guess that's it, and I'll see you guys in a week. Bye.